Holding the Veterans Affairs Administration accountable. That's one thing that had bipartisan support with a measure that passed the Illinois General Assembly to create a Veterans Accountability Oversight position within the Veterans Administration. And this really stems from some of the problems we've seen during COVID-19 when it comes to patients, long-term care settings under the Veterans Affairs Administration, and even family members having a host of issues. And this follows a tragic COVID-19 outbreak that took place in late 2020. And still some things that haven't been put into place to provide the proper oversight of that administration. It is the WMAY morning news feed. I'm Greg Bishop, and I chatted with State Senator Sue Rezin yesterday. She is a senator from the Morris area, a Republican, and she's been trying for months to get more information and better accountability and oversight of what's going on with the Veterans Affairs Administration. We talked a bit about this particular situation yesterday, and I share that conversation now with you on the WMAY morning news feed. So starting off here, we talk about an overview of where we've been, where we are, and where we're headed when it comes to the COVID-19 situation and oversight at Veterans Affairs facilities.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, the LaSalle Veterans Home had the deadliest outbreak at a state-run facility in Illinois history, where 36 veterans who the state was tasked to take care of tragically passed away because of failed leadership and management at the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Public Health and the Pritzker administration back in 2020. The Pritzker administration, they ignored critical recommendations from the Auditor General's 2019 performance audit, calling for improved communications and policies and procedures between the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Public Health during an outbreak. So this failure set up the failure to do so by the Department of Public Health led to an 11-day delay, almost 2 weeks before the Department of Public Health showed up on site to assist in this outbreak, which very rapidly spread through the entire home, infecting all of the veterans and also the employees as well. And as I said before, unfortunately, almost 30% of the veterans in the veterans home, because of the delayed response from the administration and the Department of Public Health, passed away.
So again, sharing some of the conversation I had with State Senator Sue Rezin, I also asked her about the impact of bipartisan legislation that passed in the General Assembly, legislation that the governor didn't sign, just kind of went through the 60-day window of when they're allowed to act. And if the governor doesn't sign a bill, it automatically becomes law. But there was no fanfare with this particular piece of legislation, creating a Veterans Affairs Accountability Unit within the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. Here's State Senator Sue Rezin.
Mm-hmm. Well, the oversight bill that was passed creates a Veterans Accountability Unit within the state Veterans Affairs. So that person was responsible for hearing complaints and or recommendations from veterans or the veterans' families or even employees that work within the veterans' homes. And that was just, I would say that's one step. I have several bills that are in direct correlation to the Auditor General's report that was done back in 2019 that gave specific direction how to improve the veterans' homes. And those recommendations have not taken place, and my bills continue to be dead upon arrival in the Senate.
So talking or sharing a conversation I had with State Senator Sue Rezin about that legislation and how it was meant for oversight. And the governor's office, as we mentioned, did not announce that they signed the Veterans Accountability Unit legislation. They just let the 60 days pass and it becomes law. But where's the news conference talking about this? Where's the ribbon cutting, so to speak, talking about this? The Chicago Tribune got a comment from the governor's office, and they said that we look forward to celebrating the enormous progress, they say, this law will make in the weeks ahead once we can ensure we can hold an in-person event safely. the governor's office said. So they also said that there was a bit of a miscommunication, an internal miscommunication that allowed the proposal fall through the cracks instead of having a signing announcement. Even not even an email went out about this particular law going into effect. State Senator Sue Rezin reacting to that admittance of miscommunication within the governor's office.
Well, I would say my response to that is back when we had the outbreak in the veterans' home, it was miscommunication that led to the deaths of 36 veterans. So once again, here's an administration that continues to fail in making sure that our veterans' homes are the veterans in the homes are protected, and also support publicly the one bill that was allowed to be voted on, which creates a veterans accountability within the state Veterans Affairs. There are many other issues out there that need to be addressed that were glaring discrepancies within the Auditor General's report that are in bills that we have that have not been allowed to be heard. And I'm hoping that we can get these bills heard. You have not heard the last from me.
It's State Senator Sue Rezin. And again, I reached out to the Democrat sponsor in the Illinois House for the Veterans Affairs Accountability Unit. I have yet to hear back about the status of that legislation, now law. But hopefully we do hear back from Stephanie Kifowit, Democrat out of the House. We'll share with you those comments. But Senator Sue Rezin just reiterating the need for oversight of this whole situation.
You know, it's very frustrating. I mean, again, we're talking about hearings to discuss the deadliest outbreak at a state-run facility in Illinois history, and the fact that we've had so many hearings, but yet we have not had really any productive bills that have come out of the hearing that have been passed. And the one bill that was passed, the governor did not sign the bill. He just allowed it to go into law without any kind of public signing, which is, in my opinion, a disservice to the veterans.
So we'll keep an eye on what happens here on the WMAY morning news feed and bring you any other reaction when it comes to the situation of oversight at the Veterans Affairs Administration. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks so much for tuning in.